Easy to draw. Firstly, you have that nasal depression. Then it is a nasal spine which gets broken very easily. Then it is upper jaw, teeth, lower jaw, chin, forehead, and a curve of the forehead of the cranium. That's it. And here you have, it should be like this. Then the number of teeth must not be more than 6 or 7, because total is 8. From the side you don't see all of them, and it is never smooth, the joining. This is the orbit, then this is frontal, parietal, temporal, zygomatic. This is your mandible, this is maxilla, zygomatic, orbit, frontal, parietal, temporal, occipital, mastoid. Now this topic that we are going to do, you can call it primatology. Primatology, there will be 2 chapters in that. One will be the fossil evidence, and others will be the living primates. Today we will be talking about the fossil evidence. But when you say primatology, obviously it is the study of primates. Then who are primates? Anybody? पुराने बच्चों में से बताई कोई? एंड बस 2 कर दो, हो गया डेफिनेशन. Primates are unguiculate, claviculate, placental mammals with orbits encircled by bone, 3 kinds of teeth at least at one stage of life, brain with a posterior lobe and a calcarine feature. The innermost digit of at least one of the 2 extremities is opposable, hallux with a flat nail or none, well-developed cecum, penis pendulous, testis sacrotal and 2 pectoral mammae. क्या समझे? तो पहले दिन कैसे समझ जाओगे? This will take up when we talk about living primates. I think the video has been sent to you in the group about definition of primates, otherwise he sent today, but today is not the turn of this definition. वो मैंने वैसे ही impress करने के लिए कर दिया. ठीक है? We are going to talk about fossil evidence. First thing is, what is fossil? Pardon? Dead remains. वो तो carcasses होती हैं वो तो. Anybody? This should be a GS question. Yes.
So remains of the plant animal or their impressions, the original of which has been replaced by heavy minerals.
Actually, these are actually not the remains. The shape remains the same, and the original, it is replaced by heavy minerals, calcium and magnesium, other things. Fossils are heavier than the normal bone, conch or femur. This is quite light, say maybe 70-80 grams. But the fossil will be say around 1 kg or so. So much of it is there, the original is replaced by, the shape remains. And why we study fossils? बड़े मुर्गे क्यों उखाड़ना?
To understand evolution.
But why should you understand evolution?
Predict the future of.
क्यों? बाकी सब्जेक्ट तो नहीं करते?
To see the changes.
Why to see the changes?
So that's how we can predict our future if something related to it.
मोदी को, यूएन को बताओ ये चीज कि एंथ्रोपोलॉजिस्ट कैन प्रेडिक्ट फ्यूचर. घास नहीं डालेंगे वो. The definition of anthropology is that it is the study of biological as well as social, cultural evolution and variation. So study of biological evolution is the integral part of anthropology. Fine. To begin with, I said previously that if you start with the study of fossils, the first sentence is Diopithecus was a Miocene fongid. कुछ समझ में आया था? unless you know what is Dryopithecus, what is Miocene, what is Pongid. जो लोग पढ़ाते हैं वो भी कहते हैं रट लो भैया, तो रटने से तो मार्क्स नहीं आते ना। अब टर्मिनोलॉजी क्यों चाहिए? मैनी ऑफ यू आर इंजीनियर्स, मैं हमेशा पूछता हूं कि टर्मिनोलॉजी की इंपॉर्टेंस क्या है। से इफ यू नो फिजिक्स, कैन एनीबडी टेल मी व्हाट इज इनर्शिया? आप सीधा सीधा डेफिनेशन बोलोगे, फोर्स लगाओगे, प्रेशर लगाओगे, स्टेबल, और लेमैन को क्या पता फोर्स क्या होती है, वो बताना पड़ेगा। So you got to start with scalar and vector quantities. You got to start with motion, speed, acceleration, velocity. You got to start with laws of motion, and then properly you can make me understand what is inertia. And that is the way to prepare any technical subject. So unless you understand terminology, you cannot, you'll have to just mug up. And there are three sets of terminology in fossil evidence. First is geological time scale. Ironically, all this terminology should be taught to you in the bio section of general studies, but I do not know of any institute that teaches it. If you attend bio classes in a GS institute, you may qualify CPMT, pre-medical test, but you are not becoming IAS. Now, if I tell you the beginning, the story that was, the primates, they evolved in early Cenozoic, we'll talk about what it is, or before that, say something around 65 million years ago. Monkeys evolved slightly later, say around 50. But that was the time plenty of jungles were there, and monkeys were really enjoying the life over there. When we will study evolution, we will study Darwin, we will study struggle for existence, we will study Malthus. Malthus says population increases in the geometric progression, but the food supply increases only in the arithmetic progression. So population of monkeys increased. Then Darwin says struggle for existence. There was struggle. The stronger ones, they retained themselves in the middle. The weaker ones slightly outside. Again after some time, 3, 4, 5 million years, again population increased. Population of weaker also. So weaker amongst the weaker, they pushed to the periphery. Then around 40 million years or slightly later, 35, again population increased, weakest amongst the weaker also. But there was a change in climate. Forest started shrinking. That means the weakest amongst the weaker, they were forced to land on the ground. Now life in the trees is very safe. If a cheetah jumps a tree, the monkey may jump 20. On the ground, everywhere enemy is there, and particularly monkeys walk with their palm. Threat was food, firstly survival. You are having food, you smell the threat and you run away, leaving your food behind. So they must have thought a number of alternatives. Finally they realized that instead of walking this, if they start walking like this, that will be better. How? If they perceive threat, they will hold food in both the hands and they will escape. This is called knuckle. They became knuckle walkers. Apes are knuckle walkers. So that is the way apes evolved. So many of the apes, they were satisfied with that knuckle walking mode of life. कि फूड की तो गारंटी हो गई ना, अब क्या चाहिए? But some of them, they were still apprehensive and they wanted to see the enemy from a distance. They must have tried again a number of things. But finally they realized they could see the enemy only if the eyes are placed higher. How could eyes be placed higher? If they are standing on the hind legs, पीछे की जो टांगे हैं. And when they practiced, they realized that the hands were free. Hands were no more required for walking, even knuckle. Hands could be used for other things. So those who were satisfied with that mode of life, their descendants evolved into present day apes. And those who invented further, those who were doubtful of their survival, they created new things and they moved towards a human line of evolution. So this is a story that you can tell your children. Because here we have to talk in terms of evidences. And the irony is that evidences are not there. How? You have a fossil, another fossil a million years later, another fossil 2 million years later. That is not the way evolution. If you want to study the evolution of my family, you should have one fossil from every generation. That is why till date Church does not agree that evolution has taken place. They have gradually started agreeing, but still not fully. So we will discuss Australopithecus. Onwards we have plenty of evidences. But before Australopithecus, there is a gap of 2.5 million years that is yet to be, evidences got to be there. So this is a story. So I told you three sets of terminology are there. First one is geological time scale. What is it? It is a scale that talks about the evolution of Earth and evolution of life on Earth. Evolution of Earth and evolution of life on Earth. You must have studied in your general studies or in your school days that sun was there, revolving, rotating, a part got separated and cooled down and became Earth. So obviously, initially Earth was there, life was not. Then onwards, till now, we divide the time into great phases of time that we call eras, E-R-A. Wherever there is need, we divide into periods. And again, wherever there is need, we divide into epochs, E-P-O-C-K. So the initial phase when Earth was there but life was not, it is called Azoic era. A means without, Zoa means life. Then you have two phases of very primitive life. You call them Archaeozoic and Proterozoic. First came Archaeozoic, then Proterozoic. In Archaeozoic evolved non-chordates. Who are non-chordates? Anybody loudly? They are invertebrates. We have our central nervous system, brain and spinal cord. Before that, means the precursor of that, from where it evolved, is called notochord, N-O-T-O. So those who had central nervous system, the precursor, they are called chordates. and those who did not, they are called non-chordates. Non-chordates you have amoeba, paramecium, sponges. Then during Proterozoic evolved invertebrates. Non-vertebrata or invertebrates. They have the central nervous system, but they do not have the backbone. Vertebral column is not there. Earthworm is there, cockroach is there, snail is there. And if you have seen that video, I have said civil servants are also there. Exceptions are always there, but then thereafter you have first major phase that you call Paleozoic. Archaeo means ancient, protere also means ancient. Paleozoic, paleo means old. Popularly known as the age of fish. What is the characteristic of fish? अब नाउ ऑनवर्ड सभी का बोनी स्ट्रक्चर होगा भाई. They breathe through gills. They have gill slits. Can you name any animal? The name is fish, but it is not a fish.
Starfish.
Starfish, jellyfish, cuttlefish, silverfish. They will ask you in GS prelims, which of the following is not? Starfish, jelly, Jelli, jellyfish, cuttle, and silver. Silverfish, what is silverfish? Insect is there, you find in books. Fine. We call it age of fish, but initially it is not. In the beginning, first we divide into several periods, starting with Cambrian. And because for the first time major changes are taking place, all the three periods before this collectively we call Precambrian. We make a one unit of them. In Cambrian evolved complex invertebrates. Cambrian. Then you have second is Ordovician. During this time evolved fish. But these fish, they were invertebrate, they didn't have bone. You call them ostracoderms. Sorry, placoderms. They had scales which are called placoid scales. In Devonian, Silurian evolved bony fish. And then was Devonian, when fish was spread throughout the world, in all the water bodies of the world, oceans, seas, rivers, lakes, everywhere you will find fish. Next was Carboniferous. As the name suggests, carbon. Plenty of jungles were there. They were buried. The coke we get today, it is the product of those trees. In geography, they further divide into Mississippian and Pennsylvanian. You don't have to do that. And in Permian, evolved amphibians. Who are amphibians? Those who can live on land also, in water also. Water is aqua. Those who can live on land, terrestrial. Those who can live in water, aquatic. AQUATIC. And they can live in both. Frog is there.
नहीं लाड हो इसको ट्राई कर दो नाव चल के चलो
Fine? Complex invertebrates or amphibians. After Paleozoic, you have Mesozoic. Meso means intermediate. And it has three periods: Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous. In Triassic, first evolved reptiles, and ancestors of birds immediately thereafter. And ancestors of birds. Who are reptiles? Crawling, snakes and lizards. And who are birds? Who have porous bones. Bat also has, but bat is a mammal. Light porous bones. Ancestors of birds. And immediately thereafter evolved true birds also. The best known ancestor of birds, they ask you in prelims, Archaeopteryx. Archaeopteryx is called flying lizard. It had features of reptile also, and it has wings also. Ancestor of birds. But generally people say that ancestors of birds, they came in Jurassic, and immediately thereafter true birds. Conflicting claims are there. But Jurassic is known for when the dinosaurs ruled the earth. देखिए movie. Name of the movie is When the Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth. The movie came in 1975, and there were only 5 or 6 people sitting in the hall. All of them were students of anthropology. I was one of them. When you saw Jurassic Park, ticket नहीं मिल रही थी उस time. How much change has taken place during this period? In Permian, we find Cretaceous, we find the decline of these mighty reptiles. And towards the end evolved mammals. Mammals. Who are mammals? Who are mammals?
Sir, who gives birth to young bird?
There are three types of mammals. You call them prototheria, metatheria, and eutheria. Prototheria are egg-laying mammals. The milk oozes from their hair or feather, whatever you like to call. In GS prelims, if at all they ask, there are two of them. One is duckbill platypus, and second is spiny anteater. Metatheria are also called marsupials. They have a pouch in their abdomen which is called marsupium. The newborn, it is hatched and it enters the marsupium where it develops. Kangaroo. Eutheria, they suckle their young ones. They have mammary glands. So all the mammals don't. All this in general, they do not ask you in anthropology, but they may ask you any day. The way they are expanding the scope of the syllabus, they may ask you the evolution of mammals, how they evolved from whom. But now onwards, what we are talking about is anthropology, pure anthropology. Next phase is Cenozoic. Some people call it Cenozoic also, but till the time you are writing it correctly, it makes no difference whether it is Cenozoic or Cenozoic. And it is divided into two periods, tertiary and quaternary. And they are divided into different epochs. We will divide them equally. Firstly, tertiary, starting with Paleocene. No, this started 65 million years ago. In layman terms, it is called age of mammals. In anthropology, we call it age of primates. Paleocene, then Eocene, then Oligocene, then Miocene, then Pliocene. Then in quaternary you have Pleistocene and Holocene. Paleocene, Eocene, Oligocene, Miocene, Pliocene, Pleistocene and Holocene. In Paleocene evolved primates. In Paleocene evolved primates. But they were primitive primates. Primitive means some ancestral features are also present. Whenever you use the word primitive, it means there is some linkage with the ancestor. In Eocene evolved true primates. True means present day primates. In Oligocene evolved apes. And apes continued during Miocene, but your syllabus starts with these Miocene apes. During Miocene, three primates you talk about: Dryopithecus, Shivapithecus, Gigantopithecus. Dryo actually means oak tree, and Pithecus means ape. But Dryopithecus we call ape of the forest. Not ape of the oak tree, but ape of forest. Shivapithecus, the ape of Shiva lakes. Note down the phonetics that I have used for sh. Actually, in English you have only one S. In Devanagari there are three. You have these. This is your S. This is S slash. This is S dot. Phonetics more often we use in paper 2 when we talk about Indian social system, ashramas and purusharthas and all those jatis which are there. Through phonetics only you can have proper pronunciation. Say for example, if I write what is this? It can be jati, it can be jati, and it can be that ati jati wali jati. So when you put a bar here, it is doubled, it becomes jati. So anybody will read it jati only. छोटी वाली मात्रा के लिए नहीं होता, बड़ी की मात्रा के लिए होता है. हाँ, A, I, U. That is why here you don't have any matra. Shivapithecus, the ape of Shivalix. Giganto means giant, massive, huge, large size. Giant ape, Gigantopithecus. During Pliocene evolved Australopithecus. Australo means southern, in the south. Australia is in the south, that is why it is Australia. It's not that there is any relationship between Australopithecus and Australia. It was found in South Africa. Full name is Australopithecus africanus, that we will talk about. Australopithecus means ape of the south. Then most important period of human evolution is Pleistocene. Started about 2.58 million years ago. And first evolved Homo erectus. Homo means man, erectus is erect. Then came Homo neanderthalensis. Homo neanderthalensis, the man of Neanderthal. Neanderthal is a place in Germany, previously West Germany, Dusseldorf. And here lived a man, his name was Newman. So Newman would sound English. So his friend used to chide him, you are Englishman, why don't you go to England? In world history, you will learn about the 100-year war between Germany and England. Even that dog, Alsatian, they call German Shepherd. So he translated his name into English, into German. Neander. German Neander, English Newman. Became very popular. Fought election, became mayor of the area, and was so popular that after his death, people named the place after him. In German it is Tal, T-A-L. Tal means valley. In English we write T-H-A-L. The fossil was discovered, the name of the person became immortal. The man of Neanderthal. And finally, Homo sapiens. Again, Homo is man, sapiens is wise. Wise. Let me repeat. Cenozoic, Paleocene, evolved primates. They were primitive primates, means some ancestral features were there. Eocene, true primates evolved. Oligocene, apes. Dryopithecus, Miocene, Dryopithecus, Shivapithecus, Gigantopithecus. Pliocene, Australopithecus. Pleistocene, Erectus, Neanderthal, Sapiens. And no major change has taken place in Holocene. Means no new species has evolved. And there are certain rules in biology that you have to follow. Whenever we call somebody, we use two names. We call it binomial nomenclature. First is genus, second is species. That we'll talk about when we talk about classification. Homo erectus. First is genus, second is species. Australopithecus africanus. First is genus, second is species. Dryopithecus major. First is genus, second is species. Genus you can abbreviate. Species you have to write in full. The way I abbreviated here. Then first letter of genus is always capital, whether you abbreviate or not. First letter of genus is always capital and first letter of species is always small. And lastly, all the words which are not of English origin have to be underlined. These names are Greek or Latin. All of them have to be underlined. Otherwise also I advise that all proper names you underline. Name of the books in particular. You will find in books these names in italics. But here you cannot italicize, so you will underline. Second set of terminology is classification. But before that, again, let me tell you a story. Primates evolved from the group that we call insectivora, insect eaters. And they started living on the trees. On the ground, sense of smell is very important. You can smell where is the enemy and where is the food. But when you start living in the trees, the leaves, they have their smell which is stronger than the smell of the air. So therefore, that sense of smell was no more required. We have sense of smell that we call organs, olfactory organs. The snout, the muzzle that is there, it contains those organs. So the projection of face started declining. Decrease in the projection of face. Eyes became important. Because now when you have to jump from one branch of the tree to the other, depth must be known very clearly. In Egypt, we have a place called Fayum, where we find hundreds of monkey skulls of early monkeys split into two. Previously we thought that they are cannibals, but subsequently we realized that early monkeys had not evolved that stereoscopic vision, three-dimensional vision. So eyes became important. Then one more crucial thing is, while the food is on the ground, you will smell and you will put in your mouth. Now when vision has become important, the food must pass in front of, through your eyes, you must see it. And because of that habit of squatting developed. पालती मार के बैठना जो है. What was the advantage? The mother could feed the baby also and could have her own meals also. Then, living on the trees, you could not carry so many kids along. So there started one child at a time, birth of one child. One child means better socialization, development of relationships. No, all these events took place, but still we are doing research which one came early, which one came later. Still we are in doubt about. But all these were very important in the evolution of man. Fine. So second set is terminology, classification. Science of classification is known as taxonomy. Taxonomy, now it has full-fledged discipline. All the life on this earth we divide into 5 kingdoms. We belong to animal kingdom. Animal kingdom is divided into 2 phyla. Singular is phylum, plural is phyla. Chordata and non-chordata. We have already known the meaning. Phylum chordata is divided into 2 subphyla, singular subphylum, plural subphyla, vertebrata and non-vertebrata. Again we have discussed them, their meaning. Vertebrata have 5 classes. Pisces means fish. Amphibia, reptilia, aves, aves means birds, and mammalia, mammals. And we have known the meaning of each one of them. And mammals have several orders. According to Steen and Rowe, there are 2011, there are 43 orders. One of them is order primates.
सर कितने ऑर्डर्स थे?
43 according to them. Then primates have two suborders. Two suborders, Prosimiae Prosimiae means primitive monkeys. And these are also called lower primates. And their members are loris and lemur. Primitive monkeys or lower primates. And then you have second one is Anthropoidea or higher primates.
सर लॉरेंस एंड
लिखा तो है lemur.
लैम.
Some people say lemur, but whatever you say, you write it correctly. Anthropoidea, higher primates. Members are monkeys, apes, and man. Then Anthropoidea, this is suborder. Three superfamilies. Three superfamilies: Ciboidea, Cercopithecoidea, and Hominoidea. Three superfamilies: Ciboidea, Cercopithecoidea, Hominoidea. Vaids are old world, new world monkeys. Monkeys. New world monkeys. What is new world? Americas. And why they are called new world? New world? Who discovered them? Why he discovered them?
was coming to India.
How he reached there?
Because of wind and
His compass showed an error of 43 degrees. So much scientifically evolved those people were. If Vasco da Gama could reach India, there was a Gujarati with him. And ever since Gujaratis are at the top only. Otherwise, he also couldn't have reached. Sarcopathic idea, old world monkeys. Asia, Africa, Europe. And homino idea includes apes and man. Hominoidea have three families. Hylobatidae, Pongidae, Hominidae. Hylobatidae, Pongidae, Hominidae. In family, you have, we will be talking about subfamily. Here we have, but before that, let me tell you, now here we are talking about, as we move on, we are approaching the human evolution only, we are excluding the rest. So therefore, before we exclude them, here we will talk about genus. In Hylobatidae, there is only one genus, gibbon. In one prelims they asked which of the following is an ape. Gibbon was written there. But most of the people take Hanuman monkey, langur. In Pongidae there are three. You have chimp, gorilla and orang. Chimpanzee, gorilla, orang. Again in GS prelims they can ask you full name of orang is orangutan. Translation is man of the forest. Dryopithecus is ape of the forest, orangutan is man of the forest. If you have seen a photograph of a orang with a topi over it from a distance, you may confuse whether it is human or somebody else. Man of the forest. But these three, they are living apes, present even today. But when we talk about evolution, we have to include fossils where from they also have fossils, but we are not concerned with. We have Dryopithecus, Sevapithecus and Gigantopithecus, but they are fossil apes. They are not living. They belong to this family, but they are fossils. So if I say that Dryopithecus was a Miocene pongid, It means that Dryopithecus was an ape that belonged to the Miocene times, and he belongs to the family to which present-day chimp, gorilla, orang belong. Now you will feel like reading the next sentence. But before that, they are called great apes and he is called lesser apes. Chimp, gorilla, orang are called great apes. Gibbon is. Another junior is also there, Siamang is called, that we will talk when we talk about living primates. Again, chimp and gorilla are called African apes. Orang and gibbon are called Asiatic apes. Orang and gibbon are Asiatic apes. Fine. So now will come subfamily. ये यहां पे आएगी, जीनस नहीं आएगा. Genus will come later. This is called subfamily Dryopithecini. All of them, they belong to, all of them means these fossil apes, they belong to the subfamily Dryopithecini. But before that, I forgot to tell you one thing. Members of Anthropoidea, they are called anthropoids. Members of Hominoidea, they are called hominoids. They are called hominoids. Members of family means the name that is there. Superfamily name ends up with idea and they are called oids. Particularly for this, Ceboids, Sarcopithecoids, hominoids. Here the family ends with D. This ends with idea, this ends with D. And they are called ids. Hylobatids, pongids, hominids. The problem is that when you study these two, the only difference is an O. Hominoid, hominid. So when you read hominoid or hominid, don't get confused. If you read hominoid, don't think that O is superfluous. Printing error is here. Or if you read hominid, don't get confused that O is missing. So if it is written hominoid, means it belongs to the superfamily Hominoidea, the family of superfamily of families, these three. And when you say hominid, it is the family which we call human family. Fine? And now here will come the subfamily. This is Dryopithecini. Here we have two. Australopithecine, which is a fossil, and then hominini. Living. And members are called either ins or ines. Fossil. Australopithecus is a fossil. Members will be Australopithecines, hominins.
Australopithecine was this of those
It is subfamily. Then will come the genus. सुबह से कोई नहीं मिला तुम्हें, है? ऑस्ट्रेलिया कहां से आ गया? Fine. So Australopithecine, hominini, and then you will have genus. In Australopithecine, only one genus is there, Australopithecus. Fossil. And here you also have one genus, Homo. Fine. And then you have species. Last one is species. In genus Homo, 3 species are there. You have Homo erectus, which is a fossil. You have Homo neanderthalensis, which is a fossil. And you have Homo sapiens, which is living. Very confusing. You got to make it clear. Order primates, 2 suborders, Prosimiae and Anthropoidea. Lower primates or primitive monkeys, members are lemur and loris. Higher primates, monkeys, apes and man. Higher primates, Anthropoidea, 3 superfamilies, Ciboidea, newborn monkeys, Sarcopithecodea, old world monkeys, Hominoidea, apes and man. Hominoidea, 3 families, Hylobatidae, gibbons, Pongidae, chimp, gorilla, orang, living, Dryoshiva, giganto, fossil, hominidae. Then confusion between hominoid, hominid must not be there. Hominidae, genus, Australopithecines, subfamily, Australopithecine, fossil, hominidae, living. Genus, Australopithecus, from Australopithecines, Homo on the other side. Species, Australopithecus we will talk when we talk about. Here it is Homo erectus and Neanderthals, which are fossils, and sapiens, the living one. But when we will talk about living primates in the next chapter, these fossils will not be a part of your classification. Wherever FFFT is written, that will not be a part of your classification. In living primates, you will have family Hominidae, 3 subfamilies, Hylobatidae, Pongidae, Hominidae, Hylobatidae, 1 genus, Hylobates or gibbon. There 3 genera, chimp, gorilla, orang. Here Homo and 1 species, Homo sapiens. Only living beings will be there. Done? Then one more thing, but medical people will say that they know better than I do. Study of bones. This thing would seem to you Greek and Latin. What you got to do is that immediately after the class you will revise here. Offline, online also try to sit and revise. Any doubt is there, clear, and then go. Every time I wish that in every class, after you finish, we have 2.5 hours class, you can finish in 1 hour your revision. Terminology, go back to your room, read again. Before going to the bed, read again. And that's enough. Then now you are ready to start with the topic. So third is anatomical and behavioral terms. How many bones are there that everybody knows? All of you have seen Munna Bhai. But how many bones are there in the newborn? Approximately, you can say. And why they get reduced? Pardon? What is the process of fusion? What is the term used for them? Ossification. Actually, bones are divided into certain parts, like long bones divided into 3 parts. Hip bone divided into 8 parts. So gradually they fuse together different parts, and the process is called ossification. Firstly, skull. In the skull, there is only one bone that is movable. We call it mandible or lower jaw. Just understand, we will draw it on the board and then you note down everything. Fine. So mandible I have removed, and now what I have in my hand, it is called cranium. Skull minus mandible is cranium. Of this cranium, it has a hollow cavity inside. This is called cranial cavity. Cranial cavity. In the living beings, it is filled with brain through and through. It is filled with brain through and through. So much so that the volume of brain or volume of cavity is the same. And that is called cranial capacity. Volume of cranial cavity or volume of brain. Cranial capacity. Then, bone of the forehead is called frontal. There are 2 bones at the top of the head. We call them parietals. There is one bone at the back. We call it occipital. There is one bone in front of the ear. This is ear hole. This is called temporal. Slight projection behind the ear, not slight, significant projection is there. Mastoid it is called. The upper jaw, maxilla. the eye socket orbit. This one we call cheekbone, but it is not a cheekbone. This just below the orbit, it is called zygomatic. Those who were present the day before, I had drawn. चलो फिर से बना दो. Easy to draw. Firstly, you have that nasal depression. Then it is a nasal spine which gets broken very easily. Then it is upper jaw, teeth, lower jaw, chin, forehead, and a curve of the forehead of the cranium. That's it. And here you have, it should be like this. Then the number of teeth must not be more than 6 or 7, because total is 8. From the side you don't see all of them, and it is never smooth, the joining. This is the orbit, then this is frontal, parietal, temporal, zygomatic. This is your mandible. This is maxilla, zygomatic. Orbit, frontal, parietal, temporal, occipital, mastoid, प्रैक्टिस करो ना. बहुत अच्छी तो नहीं बनी, पर ठीक है. एक्चुअली दिस शुड हैव बीन समथिंग लाइक दैट. ठीक है. देन मोस्ट बैकवर्ड पॉइंट ऑन द स्कल, opistho-cranian. Most backward point, you have to feel. We use what we call spreading caliper to find out. Yes, mastoid, its full name is mastoid process. Don't get confused with process in physics and chemistry. Process means any projection. Fine. Now, if you look at the skull from the base, opistho-cranian will come down. You see that major hole that is there, from where the nerves come out from the brain. This is called foramen magnum. Foramen means whole, magnum means large. And around this you have two raised areas in front. These are called occipital condyles. At the back there is a slight projection which is called nuchal line, Nuchal, and the midpoint of this nuchal line is called inion, Inion. If you look from the base, here is opistho-cranian, Here you have that black hole, large hole surrounding two raised areas. This is your foramen magnum. Here you have occipital condyle. Here slight projection, nuchal line. And midpoint of this nuchal line is India. Condyle, Condyle. Fine. Any slight projection is called a line, neutral line. If it is slightly more projected than a line, it is called a ridge, RIDGE. Like here we have, this is a ridge above the orbit. We call it supraorbital ridge. So thinness is line, more than that is ridge, more than that is crest. Some Africans, they have prominent portion this supraorbital crest. It was present in Homo erectus also. Thinness is line, more than that is ridge, more than that is crest, and much more, as if forming a continuous platform, then it is called a torus. As if forming a continuous platform, mostly found in apes. Like in gorilla, you have a frontal torus, you have a sagittal torus, you have a lambdoid torus. Different types of them are there. Line, ridge, crest, torus. Then we come to teeth. Shape of arrangement of teeth is called dental arcade. ARCADE. And this shape is that of a parabola in humans. In apes it is U-shaped. If you talk about one half of one jaw, then first two teeth are small and meant to hold incisors. Then you have a sharp tooth meant for piercing, canine. Then two small teeth for mastication, premolar, and three large teeth for mastication, molars. In one part of one jaw, two incisors, one canine, two premolars, three molars. Similarly in the other jaw also, and similarly in the other half of each jaw also. That is how we have 32 teeth, and this is called dental formula. Dental formula of humans is 2, 1, 2, 3. Incisors, canines, premolars, molars. And then comes vertebral column. How many bones are there in vertebral column?
33.
33 vertebrae, 26 bones. We'll count it how it is like that. Here, firstly, our vertebral column, it is elongated double S shaped. If I am standing like this, then this is the shape. First 7 of these vertebrae, they are called cervical. 7. but that may not suffice for general studies. The first two are called atlas and axis. The first one is atlas, second is axis. Actually, the two projections that we have here, in the atlas you have two depressions, and these two, they fit into those atlas, and our skull along with atlas moves on the axis. The only relationship between skull and rest of the body is atlas. And the rest five are called typical cervical. Typical cervical. The next 12 are thoracic or dorsal. These are attached to 12 pairs of ribs. Ribs are for protection of lungs and heart, also responsible for the damage of lungs. But the next five you have lumbar. A region most prone to slip disc. You have five numbers L1, L2, L3, L4, L5. ठीक है, डॉक्टर बताता है L3 में डिस्प्लेसमेंट हो गया, और नहीं पता होगा तो कैसे पता लगेगा? Actually, between every two vertebrae so far, there is a flat oily disc. So it's slippery. If there is a slight jerk in this part, the disc moves forward. So whatever nerves are coming from the brain to different parts of the body, those nerves, they get depressed, causing paralysis of that part. Next five you have sacral, and fuse together to form one sacrum. It's a single bone, five vertebrae fused together. Single most important bone for identification of sex of the skeleton. Most important is skull, but skull is comprised of so many bones. This, I told you, this is the posture. In the case of males, it will be just like that only. In the case of females, it will be projected as if forming a babysitter. The single bone on the basis of which you can identify whether the skeleton is a male or a female. We will come to this when we talk about how evolution took place. And then you have the tail, internal tail, four of them, coccygeal, but they are also fused together to form one structure, coccyx. So 5 vertebrae, 1 bone, 4 vertebrae, 1 bone, so 7 bones less than the vertebrae. 26 bones, 33 vertebrae. Internal tail, coccyx. Five sacral bones or vertebrae are fused together to form a single bone we call sacrum. And it is the most important bone for the identification of sex of the skeleton. Any bone which is left? other than limbs? वो तो लिम्ब में आ गई ना, वो तो स्कैपुला और हिप बोन तो लिम्स में आ गई। ये टेनिस एल्बो क्या होती है? क्या होता है यहाँ पे?
The tennis elbow is tendinitis of forearm muscles, both barbar
ओनली मसल्स?
और muscle का
ओनली टेंडन? ओनली टेंडन, नो प्रॉब्लम टू द ज्वाइंट? टेनिस एल्बो में एल्बो ज्वाइंट को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। टेंडन की बात कर रहे हो ना गिरव, मैं बोन की बात कर रहा हूं। चलो लास्ट नाउ द लिम्फ्स। These are called upper extremities, arms, and legs are called lower extremities. Upper extremities and lower extremities. And we'll give comparative account of these two. Starting at the top, here you have something like, here you have scapula, upper extremities, scapula, here you have lower extremities, pelvic bone. This is scapula. We call it shoulder bone. It's not the shoulder. A major part is at the back only. Scapula, upper arm, hip bone, lower arm, pelvic bone. Then you have a long bone. And this long bone here is humerus. And this long bone is femur. Fine. Then you have long bones, two of them, comparatively smaller. Here you call radius and ulna. And here you call tibia and fibula. Then you have a bone here, क्या कहेंगे इसको? दोनों में ही होती है ये एक्चुअली, पर ये ऊपर होती है इस तरह से, पटेला. Actually when you have knee dislocation, it is this bone that gets dislocated. अरे गड़बड़ हो गई यार, यहाँ थोड़ी होना था इसको. इसको यहाँ पे होना था, यहाँ पे होना था इसको. ठीक है. देन इन द wrist and in the ankle. In the wrist you have 8 bones in 2 rows. In the ankle you have 7 bones in 2 rows. One bone is additional here. So here you have 7 bones in the case of, you call them carpals and you call them tarsals. They are 8 here, they are 7. Then you have palm and sole. 5 long bones are there. They are called metacarpals. They are called metatarsals. And then fingers. In thumb you have two, then first finger, long finger, ring finger and small finger. They are called, both ways they are called phalanges. Fine. Scapula, pelvic bone, humerus, femur, radius ulna, tibia fibula, carpals, metacarpals, carpals, tarsals, metacarpals, metatarsals, phalanges. Okay. Now when you revise here and go back and in the evening, you will be able to understand 50 to 55% of the content. After the next class, you will be able to understand 70% of the, and finally in the last class you will be understanding whole of it. Okay? We won't take up the content, but what we are going to cover in the next class. Take out your printed notes. We will have front page is recent advances in the study of, in the second column it is there. First page, second column. In between, in the middle, it is written recent advances in the study of fossil evidence, whatever heading is there.
So which book?
Fossil evidence, printed notes.
Books.
Up to third page, before early fossil primates. Before early fossil primates. Fine. Then take out the photocopy, supplement. In supplement, in the chapter 3 is there, Miocene hominoids. Miocene hominoids, Dryopithecus, Shivapithecus, Gigantopithecus. Genus Homo photocopy you have with you in the supplement, and plus in my book In Search of Ourselves, in the topic of marriage, marriage starts with why marriage. That discussion.
सर सप्लीमेंट से क्या करना है?
सप्लीमेंट में जीनस होमो की जो फोटोकॉपी है 52 पेज की फोटोकॉपी, उसका चैप्टर 3 इज मायोसिन होमिनॉइड्स. 3 hominoids are there. Dryopithecus, Shivapithecus, Gigantopithecus.
Number of books, is there any subject related to the evolutionary?
ये आठवां ये वो है ना ये. हाँ, one important thing is here in the tarsals. 2 of them, they are a part of making of the heel. The heel joint is formed by astragalus. स्पेलिंग गलत हो सकते हैं, बहुत दिन से लिखा नहीं मैंने. एस्ट्रागुलस एंड कैल्केनियम. For the formation of heel joint. Knee, okay.